Hi everyone, it's Kevin Jones with Life, Mind, and Money. Today we're going to be discussing the car purchasing world. We all know we love our cars, we go through the dealerships, we see that shiny red one. But the reality is that most Americans, when they purchase their cars, are doing it in a way that absolutely are hurting their finances. And this is where cash is absolute king when it comes to buying a car. So we're going to take a deep dive into car purchasing, ways to do it better. And so when you are ready to buy a car, you have some tips and tools with you so that you can make the best purchase available to yourself and then make sure that you are doing it financially responsible. So let's dive in. As always, if you haven't already done so, please smash that like button as it helps YouTube algorithm a ton in this channel. So with that, let's begin. The car purchasing market is an interesting one. And to me, there's really only two reasons for somebody to buy a car. One, honestly, it is to get from point A to point B. That is the reason we buy cars, is to get us around places. Now, the second reason I believe people buy cars and sometimes also get themselves in trouble is for social status. I see that shiny red Corvette or some car that is a Tesla that we all love because these new electric cars are coming out. But these cars are costing thousands of dollars, way above than what we actually should be purchasing for them for. And we don't have the funds in most cases to purchase them. So we end up taking out loans that are way outside our means, and it'll end up really messing with your finances long term because it takes away the ability for you to invest and to save when we're actually paying into an item that actually is depreciating over time. I personally do not fit in the second category of social status. I have two vehicles that are older, both over 10 years old, that have miles on them, but they run great. And I don't owe anything on them, so there's no liens involved here. The reality is that cars for me are meant for transportation and transportation only. Social status is nice, but the expenses and depreciation of that fancy new car are absolutely astronomical. So let's dive into the math of this so you can actually understand exactly what I'm talking about. So you decide to go down to the car dealer and you find this wonderful car that has your name written all over it. No one really pays attention to the car price, but a dealer walks up to you and says, hey, you can have it today for only $500 a month for over the next 84 months. You say, hey, that works for me, and you drive it off the lot. Once you've left that lot, your car at that point is literally lost 20% in depreciation because that's what cars do. They lose money. So now you're paying $500 a month over the next 84 months while your car is still depreciating every year. By the time you pay off the car and factor in all of the depreciation and interest you paid to the bank, that car will have cost you 2 to 3 times what you originally purchased it the first day you got it. Now tell me, is that worth social status? Dealers will push two main things when you're buying a car, either a lease or financing the car. The main reason is it'll make them lots of money in either rent payments or interest on the finance. The actual car sale itself actually makes them no money because most cars have very small margins. So there's no interest in actually selling you car right off the lot with cash. That's why they want you to finance or rent the car through a lease. That's where they make all of their money. No dealer will ever tell you this, and that's a shame. Have you ever wondered why when you go to a new car dealership that they never talk about the actual price of the car? They always speak in terms of, oh, that's only $500 a month. And so that's where you end up negotiating this monthly rate that you end up never knowing what the full price of the car is, and most likely you're being shammed right from the beginning. They don't want to talk about the full price because they probably will end up scaring you away. So they'll speak in terms that you know of. Can I afford that within my own budget? So that's why they speak of only $500 a month, because you're like, hey, I can afford that, instead of going out at you and saying, hey, that car costs $60,000, because that would be like, whoa, stop. $60,000, I can't afford that, and you most likely would leave. So these car dealers have a lot of tricks and trades up their sleeves in order to get you in the room and sign that contract to walk away with that new car. That's when paying for a new car or a used one, only use cash. Before I got financially savvy, I financed my first car purchase, and let me tell you, I absolutely regretted it. Since that point, I have purchased 3 new cars, actually used ones, new in my case, and actually I've used cash for all of them, and it has saved me so much money in the process. Let me give you an example of one of my own personal car purchases. So about 5 years ago, I went to a used car dealership where I found a nice 2007 Nissan Altima. Not a fancy car, but it got good mileage and was well kept up. This car was well maintained by an older couple, so it only had 45,000 miles on it, and the car was 7 years old. And they listed the car for $14,000. After doing some price comparisons and using Kelley Blue Book, I had determined that the car was actually worth only about $10,000. I showed up to the car dealership and I made it known to them that I was a cash buyer. Let me tell you, this changed the conversation quickly because that used car dealer was honestly looking for a financing opportunity on this in order to make more money on the vehicle. Knowing that I only was a cash buyer in this situation, he went instantly into his database to figure out exactly what the car was purchased on the trade-in. After figuring that out, he became frank with me and said, look, obviously you've done your research and I've got to make at least $1,000 on the sale. So he offered the car to me for $11,000 cash in hand. I gladly took the deal for $11,000 because I knew I was getting a great deal on a car that had low miles and had a lot of life in front of it. And cash was the only reason that deal came together in the same way. If I had financed it, we would have never talked about the total price of the car, and somebody probably would have ended up paying the $14,000 that they're looking for, but at some monthly rate of probably $300 to $400 a month over the next 60 months, which is end up they're going to pay probably 2 more times than they need to on a used car. That's why cash is so important in these transactions. I got the deal I want, I don't pay any interest, and I walk away with the car off the lot knowing that if there is depreciation on the car, it doesn't matter to me. I got a good deal at that point, and I use cash with it and I'm done with it. And it's the best financial decision I could have made. I know it can be hard to put cash together in buying a car, but trust me, it is completely worth it. I don't want you to be taken advantage or frankly fleeced by any car dealer because they're going to try to take as much money out of your hands as possible and most likely do this through some kind of financing. Take the upper hand in this situation and bring $100 bills to your next sale because it will absolutely get the attention of the dealer and hopefully get you a deal that you're absolutely looking for. Go out there and try it. When you're ready to make that next purchase, do it with cash. And when you show that cash to that individual or that dealer or that seller, tell me how it feels. Tell me how it goes. Leave your comments below because I want to hear your stories. I know there's plenty out there. And I know that many of you will end up getting a deal that you never thought was possible because the first instinct was probably to finance it originally. You might be surprised by the deal that you can score. Showing those $100 bills really makes a difference because no dealer wants to see somebody with cash in hand walk off their lot. Even if you like your cars for simply status, that's okay, but please look at doing it used and using cash. You will save so much money in the process and still love your ride. Think about all the money you'll save in the process monthly, and that's money that you can use to invest so that your money can grow and still get the car that you always wanted. It is the best thing you could ever do for your retirement account, and your later life will thank you. Thanks for watching today. And in Life, Mind, and Money, we focus on money. Don't let your hard-earned dollars go to a car dealership just because they want to finance with you. You've worked hard for your money. So go out there and find yourself a good deal for a car that you want and then end up paying cash for that. Don't let your money be blown in interest and depreciation. You've worked too hard for it. If you already haven't done so, please smash that like button as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Also, we want to hear from you. So please leave your comments below and also your stories. And then lastly, if you haven't done so, please subscribe as it helps the channel grow. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.